So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about settings for WordPress. In the previous one, we talked about dashboard, and we saw the really cool things, quick links within the dashboard. So one of the things when you first set up WordPress is to go over your settings. So settings here is in the left-hand menu. Just click settings and quickly run through them to make sure that your site is actually set up the way that you want it to look and configured the way that you want it to be. So first option here is general, and what this does is this allows you to update your site title. So this is the same thing that we actually set up in the first one of the first lessons when we were asked for a title for the site. We typed in WordPress test site, and this is where the title now sits. So we can always update that. And when we go to our site, we see that we've got WordPress test site up there. We've got WordPress test site in our heading here, and we've got this tag, just another WordPress site underneath. So one of the first things, and that's why I also say go to settings before you get started with posts. A lot of times tutorials will walk you through posts, they'll walk you through all of these and then get to settings last. And meanwhile, you're going to be going to your site and you're going to be saying, why do I always have this just another WordPress site? You want to get rid of that. You want your site to look nice and then start posting content. So this is where you update that, and now you can put in your own tagline. So make sure that it's always a good idea to keep this type of structure where you do have a site title, tagline. So generally come up with a good meaningful title, come up with a good meaningful tagline. Down here you've got your WordPress URL and your site URL. So the way that this works is, so if you want to have that www, which is actually a subdomain to your regular domain, you could add that in here. So I think by default WordPress would probably do your domain.com, and it wouldn't be using that www, which depending on what you prefer, you could add that in or keep that out. So again, however you want to work it. You can also enter in an address here if you want to have your WordPress site on a different directory. So if you already have a domain set up, your website is set up, and you don't want WordPress to actually be on the root directory, you want it to be on localhost/WordPress, you can do that in here as well. Here's my email address that I set up again in the original steps, and this is just for admin purposes. So this allows you to reset password and so on and get some communication between you and what's happening with your WordPress install. So it is a good idea to keep a good email address there if you want to be on top of what's happening in WordPress. Down here they've got membership. So unless you've got a membership site and unless you want people to be able to sign up, this is what you should keep unchecked. But if you do want people to be able to sign up, you can set up that anyone can register. And again, here's our new default role. So when someone default signs up, you want to keep it as subscriber. So this is going to limit their access to your WordPress site. And again, with WordPress, there's so much customization you can do. So even though this doesn't really make sense for someone that has a blog, this might make sense if you've got a membership site. So I've got one WordPress site where I've actually got video games on it. So speaking of which, now that I've mentioned it, just to show you, it's so I use my arcade plugin. I've had one of these for probably about 6 or 7 years. Set it up on a domain, and it's a really good option for WordPress. And this is a really good case where you would actually have user accounts, because you can play video games, you can register, and believe it or not, this is going to be WordPress as well. So really cool, really functional what you can do with WordPress. And that's where all of these come into play, where you've got your memberships and you have to customize those as well. So here we've got date format. So again, depending on where you're located, sometimes the date format setup is different. You've got this option here, snow falling on my blog, which is, I'm not really sure, I haven't seen that one before, but we'll see what that looks like. So a lot of really cool things in settings. So I'm not sure if it's actually going to have snow falling. Oh, it actually does. So there we go. So one of the other things in general settings, which is something that I just found out today, if you want to have snow falling on it, and I guess that's because I'm installing it within December, I've got this really cool option to have snow falling in the background. So as well, time format. So time format will vary, language format will vary, when your week starts will vary as well. And these are going to be important depending on where you're located and what you're using. So I'm going to just get rid of that snow there. Here we've got our option for writing. So whenever we post, we can post to our default categories. So we don't have any categories set up yet. So it's just going to go to uncategorized. But when we do have categories, we can post them automatically there. We've got our default post format. So again, depending on what we're doing, we're also going to have all of these options within posts. So a lot of times you're not going to really have to worry about this. You're able to post via an email. So you could automatically email out, and you could post over to your WordPress blog via email. So that's really cool. So this, you would set up an email server and provide your login name and password, and you can also set that default category there. And whenever you actually make a post, it'll update your WordPress website. So you don't actually even have to log into your backend. You can automatically post, and especially really cool feature when you're on a mobile device, because you can literally do this via mobile. Down over here, so we've got update services, and what this means is, so Ping-O-Matic, what a ping is, so if you've ever wondered how Google, somebody posts something on their blog and Google right away picks it up within minutes, so that's what pinging is. Whenever a new post is published on a WordPress site, it pings pingomatic.com, and what that does is that lets Ping-O-Matic know that this page is now indexed, and then Google will it'll ping Google with the new address, and that's how Google is able to get like those really quick updates. They're not actually they do send out the bots as well to index your page, but this is just a way to notify the Google and search engines that, hey, this is a new page here, a new website, you might want to check it out, and then they go and they index the content on there, and that's how it shows up so quickly in search engines. So again, this is really important. Sometimes you might see people add a bunch of lists here, so you can have a whole bunch of pinging options here, and that's also one of those things that's debatable whether it helps out or not. So I'm going to provide a list of different ping options here. So what I had done here is I just quickly Googled WordPress ping list, and here's a ping list here. So what I wanted to, if I wanted to do, is I can just copy out all of this, this entire ping list. So going in and grabbing this all and then posting that here within WordPress. Of course, we'd have to get rid of the numbers. So this one's probably not the best one because it's not really formatted that great. But again, it's there's a lot of different ping lists here. So if I want to take this one here, maybe this one's formatted a little bit better. And you can see there's a big, massive ping list here. So you could literally take this list and simply place it within your update services, and once you save the changes, any updates you make on your website are going to actually ping out to all of these URLs separately and get indexed by Google. So in upcoming lessons, we're going to talk more about customizing your settings, and also going to be providing some links. But you can always Google and search out the different ping lists. So all I did is do WordPress ping list 2015 to get the latest ping lists. and they do change from time to time, and you can see there's a lot of Google stuff in here. They're doing Google blog search, and these are for all the different Google servers worldwide, because this ping list, obviously they want them to ping out to everybody.